Safety first. As per the last census, the Indian workforce is over 400 million strong. By 2024, that number could very well cross 600 million, a 39.1% of the total Indian population. Over 42% work in heavy industries, use heavy machines, cope industrial hazards. A 17% of India's GDP comes from manufacturing industries. Safety is the first aid of the uninjured. Safety tops all the priorities in industrial sector. Worldwide, we have 340 million occupational accidents and 160 million victims of work-related illnesses annually. 6,000 die every day. Safety is a challenge. Be it any industry, organization, or an employee, everyone needs to be safe. Humans do, machines do. Industrial safety parameters are getting complex with each passing day. Elimination of industrial hazards is a dire necessity. Prevention of work-related injury is a prerequisite. Ask Abhinav Dar, a manager from one of the Fortune 100 companies, who lost his employee to a fatal industrial accident. His workers lost morale. His company lost productivity by 20%. Questions stare right into our eyes. How to be safe? What is the solution? Who can keep us safe? Well, maybe God can, but we try too. We provide solutions. We help keep the industry safe and give you round-the-clock visibility of your assets. Maybe God can, but we try too. We provide solutions. We help keep the industry safe and give you round-the-clock visibility of your assets. We are the Hacklab Solutions. We follow a 360-degree approach, considering all the three dimensions of safety implementation: management, machines, and workers. With advancement of AI, next-gen automation is all about machines and humans coexisting, each taking care of the other. Our aim, hence, is safety for productivity. We use IoT hardware integration with sharp AI edge processing, real-time environment monitoring, data insights, and worker safety profiling. We estimate risk, employ professionals, analyze scenarios, and provide solutions. Our systems can predict failures, warn you, and take action. Our suite of tracker products cater to major Fortune 500 companies and several industrial sectors ranging from FMCG, logistics, mining to metals, and manufacturing. Our safety product verticals include collision avoidance system, pedestrian alert system, AI-based compliance monitoring, safety interlocks, and smart traffic management system. Our security product verticals include tracker tags, smart tracker cam, tracker PA system. We have been recognized as the best Indian startup in the automation domain by Technovation Awards conducted by India Electronics and Semiconductor Association, IESA. We won the award for the Best Company and Innovation Showcase category by SIC IT Kanpur. We have gained trust of clients like Unilever, ITC, Pindalco Industries, and top Fortune 500 companies availing our products and services.
Hello and good evening, and welcome to another podcast of Hacklab Solutions. Today we are excited to have Mr. Josy John with us. He's a leader in the safety industry with over 35 years of experience working to protect people and prevent accidents. He's known for his passion and dedication to safety across many different industries. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.
So we can start with our conversation. First of all, I was thinking generally students or professional to go to fields of software engineering, medical, finance, accounting. How did or what shaped your journey in the safety industry?
I started off by studying civil engineering. So I'm basically, my basic domain knowledge is civil engineering, and I'm part of the construction industry. Now, during my career in between, I was asked to head the safety department or set up a safety department of one of the organizations. And this was about 25 years ago. And without any hesitation, I said, okay. And at that point of time, I didn't know what safety was all about or how you go about it, even though I knew what it meant to carry out work in a safe manager on projects. But I was not into the nitty-gritty details of knowing the technical aspects of safety of or the knowledge of safety terms, for example, terms like hazard and risk, etc. How to carry out an accident investigation, what are preventive measures, what are control measures, and that's how I got into it. And then I was told that I will be put on a course to study about safety. So I started off with studying the NIBOSH National General Certificate, which is a safety qualification at a level 3 offered from the UK. And that actually opened up my horizons or my eyes to what really safety management is all about. And from there, I have not looked back. I went on to do a level 6 diploma again with Bosch. Then I enrolled myself for a Master of Science in Occupational Health and Safety Management at Loughborough University. And at the same time, what we have to remember that safety is not all about getting degrees, but keeping your eyes and ears opening and looking out. That's what safety is all about. There are certain theoretical aspects, yes, but more than the theoretical aspects, I always say safety is a practice which is of more importance. And human beings, by definition, have safety imbibed in them. And it is the surroundings or the culture in which you are which raises up the bar of safety with which you express yourself. And India is not very well known for having a good safety culture. We have more of a fatalistic culture. We might do stupid things and say it was fate that took his life away, it was fate that led to an accident, which I don't think is correct. Because if you start attributing everything to fate or everything to God, as sometimes we say, then it's just keeping what is absolving ourselves or just abdicating our own responsibilities when it comes to taking decisions which matter when it comes to other safety. In our own personal lives, yes, we are willing to take care of ourselves, we protect ourselves and we defend ourselves. When something
Right.
is thrown at us, we immediately cover our face. Those things are there. But that needs to take it to another level when it comes to the workplace. That is how I moved into safety and been enjoying what I've been doing over the years. Thank you.
As you rightly mentioned, that a student who's coming out of an engineering college, he or she might not have the first hand knowledge of safety principle. Do you see any progress or addition we can do in that area?
I would even say that universities who do a degree program should probably, especially in the engineering universities and courses, to add a paper on safety, general occupational safety and management. And that fundamental principles should be taught so that when you step out into the real world of work where you are either working in a factory or a construction site or in a process industry, even it can be a software of firm where you're just sitting in an office and in front of a computer. Even there are so many things which are required when it comes to safety. Giving that basics would definitely help in the person's career, how safety gets managed at the workplace.
Right, right. Sir, even I remember I was working in Singapore as a software engineer, and we used to have this safety exercise just for fun once in 6 months, and no one used to take it seriously. So I think it has to be more imbibed in everyday culture.
Yeah, nobody takes it up seriously unless until you have an accident. It's
Yes,
like people
yes,
who do not wear a helmet while driving their two wheelers around the city, and once they meet with an accident, after that they will swear by it. It's the same thing with when it
right,
comes to safety at the workplace also.
correct, correct. So how to deal with a management which is not very proactive about safety?
Well, dealing with a management which is not proactive with safety, there are many ways of doing it. As they say in English, there are many ways to skin a cat. And so you have to deal with the management, and management is, I would say that, like on my last assignment on the bullet train project, we had multiple contractors as well as multiple divisions. Even within a same contractor who had about, say, about five, one of the contracts had about five sections. Those five sections itself, we had five different project directors, as they call them. Each had a different approach to safety. So I would say even a carrot and a stick approach should be taken up. Some of them
Okay.
very proactive. They would take that extra effort to attend safety meetings, check about what's happening in safety. Some of them would be, what can I do? This is what life is. And then you have to have a little more tougher approach. I would always say, as safety practitioners, as a practitioner, I always say we are friends, hold hands together, and we'll walk with you. But the moment I see that you are doing a little bit of a not really complying with the requirements, put a little pressure on your hand to make you understand that you have to follow. But even then, you do not want to follow. What I do is I might twist your hand a little, which gives you ah. But then, if you still do not wish to follow, I will just break your arm. Some kind of a punitive action comes and some documentation, some steps will be taken. So, depending on the person on the other side, a different approach has to be taken. And I've so far seen over the years that this kind of an approach has been beneficial and people have responded to it in a good manner and got to understand what are the basics and support in their journey in safety.
So as you mentioned, bigger projects like the bullet train one, as you mentioned, don't we have a standard safety procedure for the whole manufacturing which is going on? Like you mentioned, five different people will have five different ways of managing safety. So do you think we need a strong standard?
No, it's not a problem of the standard. It's a problem. Standards are strong, they are good enough. It's a matter of how you enforce it. And as I said, five different people will have five different temperaments. You need to know what is which temperament, which approach you need to make them to comply. Now,
Okay.
whatever reporting metrics, the metrics which have to be reported are the same for everybody. And some people are very positive in ensuring that is done. Some you'll have to even chase for a report for more than once. So again, it's a lot of individual perceptions, individual approaches to the work. And what I've seen is people who have a very poor approach to safety, the quality of their deliverables also suffer.
Okay.
So you have an overall drag in their approach to management of their works. So that is very evident and that needs to be tackled in that manner. And if there are specific individuals who do not, you'll have to go up to the higher management and say, listen, guys, this is what is happening. Either you change him or you ask him to change. That's the only way
Right.
forward.
Correct. Correct. So, in your experience, did you have any gruesome or bone-chilling cases which you have investigated? And if you can share any stories.
There were many accidents which have occurred during my experience over the years, from major disasters where, or even like recently on the bullet train where we had one of those girders, launching girders, which weighs about 700 tons, just broke into three pieces in a split second. That was while it was being shifted from one location to another location and it got stuck in between. And the people who were working on it did not know how to get it unstuck and move forward, and this resulted in imbalance of weight imbalance and it just toppled and broke into three pieces. Just imagine a
Okay.
700-ton equipment about 100 meters long breaking up into three pieces. And unfortunately, the guy who was mainly working under it, he lost his life. The engineer who was supervising it, his legs got amputated. So when we did an investigation, it was plain simple. These guys were not trained to deal a situation where they are stuck with the equipment. They've all been trained very well in how to operate the equipment. What do you do in case of the equipment gets stuck during operations and what to do next? So it was not their
Right.
fault. They were trying several ways to do it, and finally, what they did was wrong, and that's how that accident occurred. And then of course, it was a huge loss for the organization. They were billing about 200 to 250 crores of revenue a month. And work was stopped for the next 4.5 months. That's almost 1,000 crores of revenue gone. But they
Right.
have a huge overheads of 15 to 20 crores every month, which still had to be paid for. So that was probably one of the biggest accidents where I could see that there was a huge loss to the organization as well as there was a loss of life. There was another accident where there was a loss of life of six persons, all got buried under a structure which collapsed. So these are accidents, and all these accidents, when we investigate, there is an element of human intervention which they did or didn't do, which has led to that kind of a disastrous accident.
So, can you share any process which you follow after an accident happens to analyze the situation?
The process is very, it is basically your own intuition and some of these things which you have learned over the years when you conduct an investigation, being able to ask the right questions, looking for the evidence at the site, what could have possibly gone wrong, and then try to piece it together. Because in some of these accidents you may not even have an eyewitness, it just happened. And then you try to
Okay.
talk to people and find out. Now this particular last accident, I said the guy who was actually doing work on it, he's no more, so you wouldn't know exactly what he did. But from that is what you understood, what he did was something which was not supposed to be done.
Right.
So that's how we came to the understanding he did something which was not supposed to done, which caused the whole 700-ton equipment, a 75
Okay.
kg working man could just get it to topple over. And that actually the organization redid the entire training program to ensure failure modes are also analyzed. What are the possible failures that can occur with this equipment, and what are the remedial measures that need to be taken to bring the equipment back in shape and back up to speed.
I was just thinking, with the incoming of new technologies, do you think we can reduce the human intervention in these manufacturing plants, or and use only the machines or robots?
Yeah, machines have. See, we are now in industry 1, 2, 3, industry 4. Now we are
Yes.
getting into industry 5.0. Now machines have always replaced tasks carried out by human beings, and that will continue to happen. And at each stage of the industrial revolution we find that newer and newer stuff keep coming up. Nowadays robots have stepped in to take up the role which a lot of human beings were doing. Now what is the advantage of a robot, or for example a drone, is you are taking away that actual person from that hazardous area. Now I want to, for example, a high-rise building. I want to clean the windows, which are maybe 100 meters high. What do I normally do? I have to send a human being up there, either on a crane or something else. I can send a robot which has a water gun jet attached to it, and sitting on the ground, I can control it and do the cleaning. So I don't have to have any kind of a human interface at a level of 100 meters. Now, one of the things which I'm really fascinated by is what a company named Gen Robotics has done. It's a company from Trandrum. They have manufactured a robot which can be used for cleaning manholes, septic tanks, and sewers. The usual
That is very
practice
important.
across the country all these years was to send a person inside, and numerous people have died because of that,
Yes.
because of the
Yes.
presence of toxic gases. Now, a robot does not have a problem with toxic gases, and they've named it Bandicoot, like sending a rat into a hole, and that it does the
Okay.
cleaning, and that has actually revolutionized the this industry itself, with more and more municipalities and other bodies using these robots to do this activity. And I think that's one of the greatest invention that is, particularly where you have robots and artificial intelligence coming together to be of a great benefit to human beings in total. I really say
Right.
hats off to these guys at Gen Robotics for having come up with this fantastic invention.
I think that is very useful, especially in India.
Maybe you should do a podcast with those guys also. They're based in Trandrum.
Absolutely. I would like to connect with them. Sir, I was reading about the accidents which happen in the United States. They have a website where they publish all the analysis. Uh, China, I don't have much information. In your experience, what do you think about the number of accidents which may happen in the big country like China?
I wouldn't be able to really come up with any numbers, but accidents do happen. Now we talk about China, we talk about the US. Do you think that information within our country is also available for the public? It doesn't happen
No.
because for us, we live in a culture of shame. So that's where the problem is. We do not want to look at the facts, go down to the facts. We look for a shame culture and we have a blame culture. So when a combination of these come together, it's very difficult to get down to the facts. Even there are so many other situations where suddenly somebody will even come up with saying, we didn't know anything, it was an act of God. Let's leave it there. Nobody wants to go, but everybody clearly knows what has happened. There have been
Right.
cases like that. Some years back, there was a railway accident, and they said it was suddenly a typhoon came there and it just picked up the train and threw it into the water. That was not the reason. The basic reason was the train was speeding at a curve which was beyond what was permitted. So
Right.
this is the way they look at it because they say individuals will be blamed. We are not looking for blame. We are trying to an accident in which investigation is looking for facts. It's not looking for the faults. It is not. It's a fact-finding mission and not a fault-finding mission. Unfortunately, in our country and probably China, they might be having their own information. They do investigations. Probably the information is not out in the open. In matured
Right.
democracies or the Western world, they do put out all this information in the public domain, and people are aware of it. In India, there is a lot of underreporting, and these kind of reports do not really come out. But then within industry, certain areas, information is shared and action is taken accordingly.
Okay. Sir, I was just thinking, if suppose I file an RTI about an accident, will it result into any information? Will I get any information, or how does that work?
No, you will get the information about the accident, when it happened, how it happened in a very brief, sketchy manner. But you will not get a typical accident investigation report where it will find out the root causes and tell you what exactly led to that accident. See, even the RTI system is very political. They will give you an answer and with which you have to be satisfied. You are not able to ask any further information. I've been seeing a lot of RTI requests which go like that and which get posted. No, it is beyond your purview. We are
Right.
not authorized to give this information. This kind of statements which even the RTI response what
Right.
gets back.
Understood. So one more question which came to my mind was about more male taking up the role of a safety officer than the females. The statement might be totally wrong, but in your experience, what trends have you observed?
My background is in the construction and heavy manufacturing industry. So, what is the percentage in the construction and heavy manufacturing industry? So the accordingly only you'll have the same percentage which matches up to people. But I've come across some real tough lady safety officers who are, in fact, I would say even tougher in enforcing safety at the construction sites. I have personally recruited from campuses women. In fact, I had recruited two women from a campus and they work on the bullet train project as a safety specialists, and they did quite a good job. In fact,
Right,
I get
right.
reports saying that they're doing better than even their male counterparts in some places. That's also
Yes.
happening.
So we should encourage more of female
Yeah,
participation.
definitely. Women want more roles and
Right.
space. Give them. It's available.
Yes, absolutely. So moving forward, I want to talk little bit about the technology. So, with the onset of AI, IoT, we are collecting so much data, and do we actually use that to make our surroundings safer, or we are not there yet?
We are there in as AI and drones as well as IoT progresses wherever possible in the safety application it is happening. Now there are a lot of wearable devices where AI is being used. Now you have tracking mechanism. For example, if it is an area where you're supposed to use certain kinds of PPE, you have cameras installed in the working area which captures people, for example, who do not wear the helmets and it gets notified. Okay, so that does happen, and the use of drones, like I told you earlier about how drones are being effectively used, where human lives are not exposed to that hazard, and instead that the drone is taking place. So it is happening regularly, and as AI technology is going up, it is getting applied in safety in the safety industry also. So it's not that it's lagging behind, and there are more and more. The other day I was talking to somebody else who has come up with a helmet which has an air conditioning unit fitted into it because you're
Right,
out, especially when you wear helmets and in the construction industry, you're working out in the sun. This small unit, it's fitted in it so that the head is kept cool. So you see how technology is also being used in different contexts too. So AI, IoT, whatever other stuff which comes up is being applied quite vigorously or rigorously for the improvement of safety across various sectors and industries.
So we have the technology which is available. Is the management of the small and medium sized enterprise ready to invest in those technology in India specifically?
Small and medium enterprises also, when they look at the advantage that they have, they would also step in because I told you, it's not related to one specific. They are investing in new technology in other areas across the business. Here also they would come in. I don't see any reason that they would hold back here because holding back here will hold back other areas of their business also. Other processes also
Yes,
can slow down. So they go along with it. And
right,
I do
right.
not think that they would be hesitating in ensuring that the right kind of technology can be brought in into their manufacturing areas.
Okay, sure. Sir, as we close our session today, any parting words with you for our audience?
The safety is all about human lives. You need to have within you a desire to protect human lives because human lives is what that matters. And anybody who's working in an office or an industry or any place, you should have that duty of care for another fellow citizen. It is that's how it comes about. It's like taking care of others. As I would say that what Jesus has said, do to others as you'd like them to do to you. You take care of others and everybody follows this dictum, everybody will be safe.
Right.
So do unto others as you would like them to do to you is something which I personally encourage. And safety is all about human lives, and we need to focus that and keep that uppermost in our mind when any task is defined, so that human beings are not affected by it, and any act of omission or commission will not have an impact on another person's life. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you, sir, for joining us today. We hope you found this conversation with Mr. Josy John as insightful as we did, gaining a deeper understanding of the importance of safety and innovation in the workplace. His passion and expertise truly underscores the critical role of proactive safety measures and creative solutions in protecting lives and enhancing our environment. Stay tuned for our future episodes, and until then, take care and bye bye.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.